Hello and welcome back to English Shadowing Podcast, your go-to space for listening, repeating, shadowing, and mastering English at a slow, natural pace. I'm Alex, and I'm excited you're here. In this episode, I speak slowly. I use clear, simple words, and I build ideas step by step so you can shadow my voice, improve your speaking, and gain confidence along the way. Today, we will explore how to learn English with podcasts. Not just any listening, but focused practice. How do podcasts help your ears? How does shadowing turn hearing into speaking? How can fluency grow from daily habits? By the end of this episode, you will know how to use podcasts to listen actively, shadow effectively, and speak fluently in real situations. Let's dive in. Why is learning English with podcasts so powerful? It's powerful because podcasts are real. They're like conversations you can join anytime. You know the feeling of hearing English but not speaking it. Podcasts change that. You don't need expensive classes or travel. You don't need perfect quiet or hours of free time. You just need your phone and a few minutes. You can listen to stories, tips, or talks that match your level. Here's the best part. When you use podcasts for learning, you're building real skills, useful listening, active shadowing, English that fits your life. You don't need to be advanced. You just need to start. When you listen and shadow, you begin to hear patterns. You begin to form sentences naturally. You use simple ideas that connect, stop relying on translation, and feel more ready to speak. Let's take an example. Imagine you're walking and a podcast asks, "How was your day? How was your day?" If you've practiced, you can think and say, "My day was busy, but good. I learned new words." Now that's active learning. That's turning input into output. And that is your goal. Even if you're commuting, even if you're multitasking, even if you're a beginner, you can still grow with podcasts by listening and shadowing. So when you feel stuck, start with something simple. What podcast will I choose today? How will I listen actively? What will I shadow? Where can I fit it in? What progress do I want? These questions guide you. They help you choose topics. They build consistent habits. They turn passive hearing into active fluency without overwhelm. You can do this while cooking to review words. You can do this before bed to relax with English. You can even note key phrases and say them back. The key is consistency. Use what fits you. Don't aim for perfection. Just engage. And the more you do it, the smoother it gets. One episode today, focused practice tomorrow, confident talks next week. So today, let's develop that skill together, one listen at a time. One shadow after another. Okay, let's start at the foundation of podcasts, the listening stage. Listening is a core part of your growth. It tunes your ears, it feeds your mind, and it's an ideal way to absorb English even for short bursts. Now, let's practice some simple listening tips together. If you'd like, go back and repeat each one slowly, just like shadowing. I choose podcasts at my level. Now, if you want, rewind and try saying that. Sometimes I pick short episodes around 10 minutes when time is limited. Now you can repeat if you'd like. If I miss parts, I don't worry about every word. I focus on the main idea and enjoy the flow. I like to take a quiet spot and prepare my mind. Then I feel engaged. I go to my app and select a topic. I listen carefully and note new sounds. Then I reflect on what I heard. It helps me connect. Sometimes I listen to talks about daily life. especially if I want variety. When I listen, I like to imagine the speaker or visualize scenes. After listening, I feel smarter and summarize in my head. I try to keep my choices interesting and fresh. Fresh. Sometimes my picks are about stories or tips. If I have questions, I find answers later. Next, I move to my next activity and think about the content. I usually do something light, like walking while reflecting. Sometimes I share what I learned with a note. If I have more time, I listen to a related clip. I like to engage without pressure so I can absorb. I sip water most sessions. Sometimes I sip coffee because it keeps me alert. While listening, I sometimes jot keywords or pause if needed. Other days, I just let it play and focus on rhythm. Before I end, I think about my takeaway. I look at what stuck and feel accomplished. I review my notes to see if I grew. I pack my mind with insights, my favorites, ideas, and small gains. Then I close the app and carry on. Okay, let's shadow a story. My listening routine. In this part, I will tell you a short story about my listening. You can listen, then shadow each sentence if you'd like. You can pause after each line to repeat it slowly. Are you ready? Let's begin. In listening, I usually start with a beginner podcast. Sometimes I start with music if I need energy. I sit for a few minutes and choose my episode. I play it, take a breath, and slowly follow. Then I hear the words and think about meanings for 2 minutes. After that, I note if something is new. It really helps me remember. If I feel distracted, I close my eyes. I often think of pictures while I listen. It makes me engaged and ready. After hearing, I try recalling the main points. I say a summary or finish a thought. I take a short break to process. During the break, I stretch and relax. I feel the knowledge inside and feel calm. Then I go back to listening if I want more. I check my understanding and feel good. At the end, I close the podcast and plan next. Okay, let's say a few final practice sentences together. Again, you can repeat right after me if you'd like. Every listening is a little different, but I try to follow a good pattern. When I listen in English, I feel more connected. I'm proud of my ears, and I will keep going. Now, let's move to the shadowing, the active part of podcasts. Many people use shadowing in podcasts. Some repeat words, some mimic tone, some build speed. Whatever you do, shadowing is a good time to use English. Even if it's new, you can still hear, you can still say, you can still practice even for just 5 or 10 minutes. Let's learn some common shadowing sentences together. If you'd like, repeat after me, slowly and clearly. When I shadow, I copy the speaker's voice. Sometimes I feel awkward after I start. I think about rhythm and try again. I often hear clips from simple talks. I usually pause when I need. Sometimes I shadow with a mirror to see my mouth. If I stumble, I remember it's practice. I like to list 3 phrases to repeat. In the active time, I sit straight and breathe deeply. I see flow inside and feel better. Then I go back to shadowing until I smooth. I check my sound and feel strong. At the end of the shadowing, I feel tired but improved. Now, let's shadow a shadowing story. My shadowing routine. Listen first, then shadow each sentence if you'd like. Pause to repeat slowly. Ready? Let's go. In shadowing, I notice the chance at about midday. Sometimes I feel it sooner if a clip is good. I stop for a few minutes and choose my phrase. I list my lines, take a breath, and slowly say, After that, I open my ear and mimic for 2 minutes. It really helps me flow. If I feel off, I slow down. I often share my try with a recording. It makes me hear and ready. After sharing, I try full sentences. I shadow a story or finish a talk. I take a 5-minute break to rest my voice. During the break, I drink water and think. I see improvement outside and feel better. Then I return to shadowing until evening. I review my tries and feel good. At the end, I end the session and plan more. Okay, let's practice a few more sentences. If you'd like, repeat after me. Shadowing is hard but rewarding. I grow from my tries. I'm happy when I sound natural. Now, let's go to the fluency, the goal parts of podcasts. Fluency is when many people feel free. Some speak fast, some connect ideas, some enjoy talks. It's a good time to use English in a smooth way. Let's practice some fluency sentences. Repeat if you'd like. In fluency, I aim for smooth at 10 o'clock. I change my focus to flow. I note my goals in my journal. I make simple plans like topics to try. Sometimes I share if I'm fluent. I talk with ease or alone. We discuss ideas while flowing. After that, I test new talks. Then I relax and think of wins. I listen to a clip or read a text. If I have energy, I shadow more. I like to call a friend and converse. Before end, I set for tomorrow. I feel the fluency and continue. Now, let's shadow a fluency story. My fluency routine. Listen and shadow if you'd like. Ready? In fluency, I notice it at about evening. Sometimes I feel it sooner if I practice well. I pause for a few minutes and smile about the ease. I list my flows, take a breath, and slowly build. Then I open a chat and speak for 2 minutes. After that, I adjust the speed. It really helps me natural. If I doubt slow, I speed up. I often think of daily use while I fluent. It makes me ready and strong. After thinking, I share with a pal or group. I tell a short story or send a voice. I take a moment to enjoy with calm. During the moment, I sip a drink and reflect. I feel freedom inside and feel calm. Then I close my day. I catch your practice for how to learn grammar. Thank you for joining English Shadowing Podcast. If this episode on how to learn English grammar helped you, please subscribe on YouTube for more. Like the video and comment below. What's one grammar tip you like? Your comments help us connect. See you next time.